Hinal Sumaria, a cabin crew, and Dhruv Patni, a jeweler, knew each other right from their childhood years. Even though both of them are Indians, they hail from different societies. The couple were and still are next-door neighbors. However, their beautiful relationship ensued later as they grew older.
Basically known each other since the age of 4.
He was like my emotion bag. Every time I had something going on in life, I'd probably just go and tell him when we were friends. And I think basically somehow we used to work the same. We didn't really realize, but that was the connection. Like we just used to bag onto each other.
Yeah, told her, I think, this is it. I think I don't want to see anybody else. And I asked her if she wanted to see anybody else. She said no.
The Indian culture advocates for people to marry while they're still young. In fact, apparently, it is difficult for a woman to get a mate after the age of 30. As a result, Hinal claims that apparently her parents had given her an ultimatum of 6 months to find a mate or find herself in an arranged marriage.
My parents really tried pushing me around, and I just said no. And then we eventually came up with a compromise saying, give me 6 months. If in these 6 months nothing goes nowhere, then maybe I'll start looking at someone. That's what my intake was. And then came along Dhruv, and everything worked out.
Luckily for her, Dhruv showed up. Contrary to the arranged marriages that exist in India, Hinal and Dhruv's relationship is a free will love union. Being the first and only girl in the family, the brothers are quite protective of Hinal. Hence, before Dhruv could date her, he had to get a nod from her brothers.
The moment when we did that sort of interview, I was sweating. Yeah, I was, because it's somebody I've not met, and now he's going to ask me 100,000 questions, and I better have my answers ready, and I better be ready to say yes, because if he's accepted me, then the father will have no issues.
The two are both passionate about flying since Hinal is a cabin crew, while Dhruv, despite being a trained pilot, he cannot fly due to medical reasons. Hence, for his formal proposal, Dhruv planned a surprise air trip to the Mara, where he popped the big question, and being a jeweler, he designed a proposal ring fit for his queen.
I know how much he loves flying, and I know it kind of pulls him down that he can't do it. So I do anything to make him happy if he's getting to go on a flight. On our way there, the friend called and says, "Oh, you guys, I can't make it. Something's come up." I look at his face and he looks like, "Oh my God." And I said, "You know what? No, let's just go. We'll see what to do when we get there."
I knew we were going. I had a camera mounted on the front of the windscreen for the aircraft, and I told the pilot, just flip it around. So it's got a mounting that turn around. In my backpack I had my ring. I wanted to give it to her. I didn't want her to know. So I told her, look out of the window, watch out for elephants. She loves animals, wildlife. I popped out the ring and popped a question.
I suddenly started nose bleeding before I could answer.
Most couples have the option of choosing their wedding date, but this Indian duo had to inform their parents of their proposal for a date to be set for their traditional wedding.
We went down his place the next day after he proposed, and the elders now sit down and come up with, okay, so this is a good date, this is a good time, so let's do it then. And that's basically what happened.
Hinal and Dhruv come from two different Hindu societies with a different set of deities and wedding practices. Hinal comes from the Jain society, known for being astute in business, while Dhruv is a Soni Indian who are skilled jewelers.
We have our own, we have our own God, we have our own ways of doing things. They have a different God and they have a different way of worshipping. It's just two different religions completely.
In addition, there are different Indian societies prescribe different timings when the wedding should take place, and consequently, this is giving them a challenge. Since it's the first wedding in both the Hinal and Dhruv's family, it is very crucial that everything goes smoothly as per the traditions.
It's difficult to start the event at 3 because there's a whole thing about the guy leaving home.
That's a ceremony on its
own.
own.
There's a ceremony there. Time is not the issue. The more thing is the guests coming in. Now our guests prefer to come in at in the evenings. These are people, close family and other relatives. See, we want all of them to come, and this is actually the first wedding in my house. So that's why my grandfather's sort of insisting on the evening wedding. And that's what we're trying to work around at the moment.
Even though this duo has done a civil wedding, they are legally married according to the Kenyan laws. Hinal and Dhuruv's cultures dictate that they must have tied the knot culturally to be deemed as man and wife in the Hindu society. But they seem not to have their way, as most Hindu weddings are a family affair, and in most instances, the will of the family carries the day.
I didn't want a big Indian wedding.
Because of family prestige, status, expensive wedding gifts, and dowry, Indian weddings are a costly affair, and to cut on the budget, most Indians opt to travel all the way to Mumbai, India's capital, to shop for their wedding items. Mumbai, formerly known as Bombay, is one of India's fashion capitals and one of the world's top 10 centers of commerce.
If you don't know the place, if you don't know how to get somewhere, or you don't know the exact location of shops, you could get lost. And Mumbai, it's a crazy, it's a madhouse, like I said.
Shopping in India was amazing. There's loads of variety, and you can get exactly what you want. You can go for the heaviest of them all, like have the biggest sort of decorations on it and stuff, or you can go for the simplest of it all. So you have a very wide range to pick from.
Hinal and Dhuruv, together with their families, did their wedding shopping in Mumbai. Dhuruv opted to make a pilgrimage to Mumbai just to save on cost, as during the engagement ceremony, his family will be expected to give the bride expensive gifts, such as saris, clothes traditionally worn by Indian women.